Okay, so this lesson is on rational exponents. There's three different parts that we're going to do. We're going to start by just changing the form. Okay, how do you go from radical form to exponential form? And it's actually not too bad. When you are going from exponential, this one's exponential because it's 3 to the 1/6, that's your exponent. You're going to go to a radical. Your big number stays its big number inside. Okay. The numerator is your exponent on the inside. Your denominator is your index. Okay, so I'm throwing terms at you that you probably don't know. When we are talking about radical form, the number out here, this is called your index. The big number, that's called your radicand. And the exponent, of course, would be whatever number it's raised to. Okay. Now, when you see this on your worksheet, it's not going to have that 1 because remember, if it's anything to the first, they just assume that we know that it's a 1 right there. So this would become your answer. So let me do another one. Again, you're going to have a square root. Your big number stays your big number. The numerator becomes the exponent on the inside. The denominator becomes the index. And again, we wouldn't write that 8 to the first. We would just write the 5th root of 8. Okay, let's go backwards. Let's go, what if I give you a radical? Okay, so the first thing you need to know, if they don't put a radicand, kind of like with exponents, they don't put an exponent, it's a 1. If they don't put an index, it's a 2. And again, the exponent in here, if there's not one, is a 1. So this in exponential form is going to be 51 to the, remember the exponent on the inside is your numerator, your index is your denominator. So that's your answer. Okay, let's do another one. 15 is my big number. This one's easier because they give you all the numbers. Your exponent on the inside is your numerator. The index is your denominator. Okay, this one we're going back to this form, so it's a 12. Your numerator is your exponent on the inside. Your denominator is your index. And the other way, 37 is your big number. There's no exponent, so it's really a 1. So 1 is your numerator and 3 is your denominator. Okay, so that's how you go back and forth from radical form to exponential form. Okay, evaluate each expression. These are easy. We're just going to use our calculator. So let me show you how to type some of these in. So this is going to be 32 raised to the, I like to put it all my fractions in parentheses, so raised to the 1 divided by 5. So this answer is 2. Let's do number 10, 81 raised to the 1/4. 1 divided by 4 is 3, so this answer is 3. I think you got these. Let's skip down. Let's do 14. So it starts with a parentheses. It's negative 243. Close your parentheses. And it's raised to the, and in parentheses I'm going to put 4/5. So that answer is 81. None of these are really too difficult. Let me show you 15. So 15 would be 27 raised to the 1/3 times 27 raised to the 5/3. 729. So I think you can type them all in. None of them are too difficult, especially on your worksheet. You should be fine with evaluating them. Simplifying. Okay, we got to remember our rules of exponents. If they're multiplying, you add exponents. So you would do 12/5 plus 3/5. Because they're multiplying, you add the exponents, and you get c to the 3rd. Same thing, they're multiplying, which means add exponents. So you would do 2/9 plus 16/9, and you get 2. So that would be m to the 2nd. If it's on the outside, that means you multiply. So q to the 3 times 1/2 is 3/2. They're multiplying, so that means you add them. So you would do 1/5 plus 1/2 change it to a fraction, math, enter, enter, and you get p to the 7/10. All right, I'm not going to do 21 again. You would just add those. Let's take a look at 22. We haven't reviewed this rule. The rule is that if they are dividing, you subtract. So here you would do 2/3 minus 1/4. And that gives you a long decimal. Let's change it to a fraction. And you would get 5/12. Same thing, they're dividing, so we're going to subtract. So we're going to do 1/2 minus 1/4. And 0.25, change it to a fraction. You get y to the 1/4. Okay, 24, there is one like 24 on your worksheet, so let's do it. I'm going to go ahead and combine the bottoms first. They're multiplying, which means we would add. So I'm going to do 1/6 plus 1/2. Change it to a fraction. So it means on bottom, I'm going to have n to the 2/3. So I'm going to rewrite it here. I have n to the 1/3 on top. And on bottom, I have n to the 2/3. And I got 2/3 by adding these two n's right here. Now they're dividing. Your rule when they're dividing is you subtract. So I'm going to do 1/3 minus 2/3. Change it to a fraction. So that gives me n to the negative 1/3. Now remember, you cannot have a negative exponent. So the way you fix it is you move it. So we'll move it to the bottom. And if nothing's on top, we put a 1. So that's my final answer for 24. So let me go through those steps again. I combined these two on the bottom and got 2/3. I subtracted because they're dividing, and I got negative 1/3. You can't have a negative exponent, so I just moved it to the bottom. And that's it. So if you'll go try that worksheet and let me or Mr. Miller know if you need any help.